Hey, Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to PCM23 Lions episode 110. And we set off with the Itzulia Basque country race, stage 1 of 6. Not a major race, and so we're expecting that things are going to go rather quickly through this one. There is definitely some undulation on this first stage. Prologue, a little bit of a time trial. It's just over 7K, and so pushing on again after we get through that climb. Trying to set the tempo early, trying to get good times in so we're well placed, but this is not our A team, and it's not a terribly hard race, and we're not going to focus that long on it. So we will bypass a couple punchy stages, which means we are at the mercy of the AI, and we are at the mercy of me not paying close enough attention here to Matoni in those final kilometers or so, but he's only the second guy off the line. But Oscar Rodriguez is no joke. It's going to be a decent time. It'll hold up at least for a while. Musa with a +4 overall. Our expected is a +9 for these guys. So we've already got a pretty good start on that. Matoni's average of a 78 prologue and time trial was pretty decent. You see, you definitely recover a bit there on that descent, and then you kind of push on from there. Even weaker, another little descent sets that up nicely. Yeah, I think you can just about get away with an 88. That was an 88 most of the way for Musa, and even then, that's 11th best. Matoni, still best. And look at Musa. I mean, we're looking at a 67.70, which means about a 69 average, and definitely not great on the climbing. Haptum sets off. This is a 73 across the board, no matter how you look at it. So let's see if that 88 is something that can be maintained with somebody in mid-70s or better. We saw that somebody in the upper 60s could nearly do it. So far so good on the 88, holding up, and yeah, not only can he hold up, but you can get a little push right at the end with whatever's left. So definitely, that's 19th, 25 seconds down for him. Musa at 37. Matoni, though, has fallen off the lead. He's down to 5th, but that's Sivikov, Ben Healy ahead of him, and just by a matter of seconds. So Matoni, regardless, is going to be well placed here. Benuna, Bari, De Villiers still to go. I believe that's Josh. As Benuna sets off, unfortunately, Benuna is a weak prologuer, and at such a short distance, it's more prologue than time trial. So a 70-77 really means that's about a 72 on the net average there, and that slows Benuna down significantly from what he would be if this was 25K plus. But I think he should still end up getting a decent time out of this. In fact, he, even on a 72, didn't quite make it on running that 88. He ran out of energy just before the end. That put him a few seconds behind Haptum. Bari is going to come towards the line. 61st, 56 seconds down. I mean, a lot of these guys are in touching distance, but Frischknecht, who just went top, Larson, Muller, all ahead of Ben Healy, bumping those times down quite a bit. That 78 was not going to cut it. You definitely need an 80 plus, even though I do think we could have gotten a few more seconds out of Matoni if he wasn't our first guy to go, if he was one of the last ones to go and there wasn't some guessing involved. Even then, I think at best, Matoni might be 5 to 6 seconds better, nothing more. Josh De Villiers sets off. He's got a +3. That actually gives him a pretty decent rating. Let's 71 for the prologue, 70 on the time trial, so just about a 71 overall. And with some punchy stages, he could be in the mix for a decent GC position. But I think Matoni ultimately is our leader here, and that's 46 seconds down. Decent overall time, but no one is paced particularly well. I mean, Matoni's all the way down in 16th already, but team as a whole outside of Maccabee are all within a minute, and with some good results could move forward. But we're going to quick sim a couple stages, and therefore expectations are pretty low for that. You quick sim those couple stages, coming out the other side of it, we could be looking at one guy left in the top 30 as we get into the final couple stages. This race has really dropped in priority for me. It was already low priority. Itzulia Basque is not a major race. We did not bring our A team here. That was already enough of a combination. But then the quick sim 2 punchy stages, not one of our riders was even remotely competitive. Not one. Now, to an extent, I get it. This is not what the Itzulia Basque country race should look like. There are 10 riders today that have an 80 or better medium mountain rating base before you add in that +4 on top of it. We are overmatched. We are really, really overmatched here. So for that part, I get it. I get it. Expectations should be on the low side, and they were on the low side. But I expected one guy, maybe Mutoni or Josh de Villiers, to at least perform decently well. Barry should go get the water, but he is too tired, so Josh de Villiers will do it. Oh, buddy! Oh, Maccabee! I didn't realize he was already out like that. Maccabee just cost us dearly on that one. Barry is out, and de Villiers is still trying to get water, but he's going to hit this climb solo. Now, he is a puncher. Red bar's gone. Can he put in any sort of pace to get back up there, or are we going to be down to 4 guys? I'm guessing we're going to be down to 4 guys, but for now, those 4 guys are nowhere near the back. We're nowhere near the group back. Motoni and his -4 draw is definitely down the order a bit, and de Villiers has given up on the water, and he's too far down. So, yeah, 4 riders left. Things not going according to plan. Speaking of according to plan, Motoni drifted a little too much here. He is very much hanging out near the back, but these guys should stay in contact. The guys next to him are still riding decently well, and that's 46, chasing a breakaway of 6 that still have a minute 45 advantage. Just making sure it is a breakaway. Reese is one of the favorites. Rubio is a pretty strong climber. Castellano is a pretty strong climber. We didn't get water. Somebody, Mutoni, guy at the back, needs to do it. He's at the back because he's on a -4 race day condition, where Musa and Habtum are much weaker riders, but they got a +5. They were my 2 expected +3s, so they've drawn at least a +2 today. Overall, our draw's not bad. It's pretty neutral as far as things go. I mean, that +4 helping. I think we ride for Musa and Habtum. No one is placed well. Like I said, that's become an issue. So Musa and Habtum are the highest placed. So we might as well ride for them. There's the breakaway, down to just 1 minute. Peloton's down to just 45 chasing. 4 guys is not too bad for that. This being that final climb, this is going to be the moment where this race is decided, and we need to set this up. Go 89. Motoni gel now. Bunona will gel shortly. Very shortly. It's a pretty short climb. 7.1k, 5.5%, but it stops climbing in the middle. Right now, we're looking at 9 and 10% gradients. Acceleration from the first few favorites, but no one is chasing, therefore they're just gonna go right away with this thing if we don't do something about it. So us versus the world, because guaranteed there's more than 5 teams that have riders here. And Benuna is done on to Musa, and then there were 2. Musa is a puncher, so we will go punchy with him. He's got a nice 83. He can help pull Habtum along, recover some ground, leave behind a number of guys. Let's check in. Big hole back here. I mean, there's Moss, Carapaz, Sivkov. Muller's not much, but Higita, 78, 79, 82 is this far down the road backwards up here. Bozic, 76s. Leonardi, 81. Ben O'Connor, 79s. Paulus, 83. These guys have all just been dropped. They have been dropped. Musa has officially dropped them. We're down to Einar Rubio, who was in that breakaway. Evenepoel sits third overall. And Utsa Brooks, who's 9th overall at this point. And we have 8 at the front, which includes the remnants of the break. Castellano, leader Rodriguez, Petrovic, Pogačar, 82s across the board. Almeida, just about across the board. Lenny Martinez, 83. Leknesund, 81s. And Vingegaard. Those are actual favorites. There's the final breakaway guy. So 2 breakaway guys and 7 leaders. Followed by our group, which has a leader in Evenepoel. And that's it for Musa. Utsa Brooks looks like he's going to get dropped. Musa is getting dropped. That's it. Musa and Utsa Brooks are out. We're down to 7. Chasing, they caught that breakaway guy. He's in it. The other breakaway guy got dropped. That's it for the climbing, though. So this is looking like a pretty good, solid top 10-ish here today. It's going to certainly improve Haptom's position. And he's got enough energy to hang on and do something in these final, 6K. It's uphill. But he can definitely hang on to this group as we chase. We're catching that breakaway guy. And he's been reeled in. And goes straight out the back. 2.5K. Red bar gone. That's the tempo these guys have been setting. But we still have some yellow enough to maybe make one last final push here for Haptom. Can you follow? Front group have a 1-minute advantage. Lenny Martinez wins the stage. Pogačar, Petrovic. We've missed out on them. The last red bar. We dropped one more rider here. But Haptom, no red bar, couldn't hang on, so he loses a few seconds. Ends up 13th on the stage. It's Evenepoel who got dropped. He did all the work. He missed out. There's the Moss group. Here is Musa, who is 1K away. Attack. Just try to get a decent time here, why don't you? Helped improve his position. Past the rainbow bands. 26th overall. Rainbow bands, that wasn't regular rainbow. That was a national team. Which color scheme that was, I didn't catch in that brief moment. Gaps were pretty significant. Haptom moves all the way up to 11th. Right on the edge of the top 10, which means the last stage is going to be worth doing. Musa moves up to 24th. There are some points to be had for our team after all. The last stage, while punchy, a little bit less significant than this one, could still be a pretty decisive stage. Vingegaard leads from Almeida. Martinez moves up to 3rd. Leknesund is 4th. Pogačar moves up to 5th from outside of the top 10. And then the gaps open fairly wide from there. Stage 6, going fast for now. The breakaway just now came together, a group of 11, and there is a lot of quality in that group. We've been going 76 here. Let's slow down, up that to an 80. We had plenty of drift here. Middle of the peloton is where we're at right now. As we go over the top of this one, we'll have a brief descent here, which will allow the heart rate to come down. I don't think it's going to give much recovery, but it's going to get us back in position. Now, the reason why things are so intense right now is we're already down to 82 kilometers. This is one of those stages that is meant to be intense from the get-go. It was only 120K, so Maccabee is among a large group of riders that are already getting dropped, and that is a huge warning sign for Musa and Barry, Banuna, Haptom, de Villiers, all suddenly no longer at the middle of the peloton with a huge group dropped. This is suddenly the back. So Musa up that effort. Bari is protecting. Habtum up that effort even more. Banuna can hang on a little bit longer here. 91 is enough tempo, so he is not dropping back. None of them are dropping back. Tempo has lifted. 112 left in the peloton, and the tempo is not what it was. So there's been enough riders dropped. Musa struggling a little bit, but we made a lot of forward progress. 1K to go from the top. He's still seen as in the middle, but I worry about this thing splitting up, and it does. 21 riders dropped. In his general vicinity, Bari was right at the end, and Musa, who's 24th overall, he's not the leader. Habtum is that leader. He got through this okay. He's got a +5 again today. Overall draw for the day is a slight negative, but we had that slight positive on the day before, so it's offset. But of course, we're very much used to it being kind of the other way around, right? Are we not? Musa, go forward. Bari, given what he's got left to help you get there and make contact, and now there's 89 in the peloton as Musa is back. 5K from the top of this one. Nice recovery period after this to come. Ooh, I wanted to back off a little, not that much. So Bari, Maccabee out the back, but 74 riders. Josh de Villiers out the back. Musa, 80s, hanging on. 2.5K to go from the top. This is also our period to get water. Here in just a moment, Musa will be that guy. He's furthest back. He's positioned for this, but we want to do it late, because I don't want to see him get dropped over the top. In fact, I don't want to see him get dropped over the top. So normally I would have done it a little bit earlier, but I really wanted to wait until we were like cresting and not see him get split off suddenly. So Musa, good timing on the water, but this is going to take a little extra out of him. He's a 70 downhill, going flat out and losing ground. And now wasting a ton of energy to regain contact. That's why I waited, and even then, he still ended up getting dropped completely on his own, and we're going to have to keep a close eye. Can he get this job done? He has. Okay. Musa clearly needs to be a protector, not protected. Habtum, number 1 guy. Tony, number 2 guy. 3 climbs to go. 47 left. 3 left, and the break is all. They are originals from the break, but the tempo has been intense. A lot of the guys that were in the break are very good climbers, but they've been in the break multiple days, and with the intense tempo as Musa, that's it. He's going to be gone. He is gone. Banuna is just hanging on, but I don't think he's going to make it. He does not. He is dropped. Taberi from the break has been caught and dropped. Down to 31 left in the peloton. Make that 32. 1 rider left off the front. Nice gradual descent here for a while will allow for some recovery. Allow them both to recover a bit. Habtum should get fully recovered even without protection. And then Matoni will switch to protection for this climb to come. Just before the bottom. There you go. Habtum almost fully recovered. Now, if I'd protected him, he would be. And there is an attack. Almost felt like that would have been a good time for, like, say, Matoni to attack. But I'd want to have a 3rd guy. And even then, I still wouldn't be a fan of it. Nor Habtum, for that matter. Breakaway of 4. 40 seconds. Being reeled in fairly quickly. So, yeah. Looking like that's not going to be a decisive move. Just a half minute for those guys. Habtum, Matoni hanging on. Penultimate climb. The KOM is all over the place, but we are not involved in that competition. Otherwise, we would still have a shot at it. Last recovery period. Done. Falls flat for a while before we begin the final climb. We have 4K till we begin the final climb. And then we have 10K to the top of it. So a little over 6K, 6.3. Matoni. Time to gel now. But Haptum, nice and fresh, ready to go for that final climb. But Haptum, 75, 73, 74. He's got wonderful stamina, and that's kept him upright, but I don't think he's going to climb terribly fast on this final climb. This is going to be more of a hang-on situation. We would ride for Matoni, who's a better mountain guy, but even then, a 77 is only a 77. Remember, we've got 10 guys in this field that have an 80 medium mountain or better, and this is going to be a medium mountain kind of climb. Matoni is done already. We're going to gel early for Haptum, and attack is nullified. Here comes the next attack, is just one rider for now, and he has joined the final breakaway rider. It's a Venipol and Rodriguez. So no, it was two riders attacking. That is not a breakaway. But the chase is Pogacar. And he's looking pretty haggard. 4K. Haptum hanging on decently well. And we are starting to drop riders from this. It was 27. There's 2 plus the 20. $3K. Oh, remember the top is not a full bore kind of thing. 16 chasing 4. Those 4 look like they're going to get off. They're going to continue on. Leknesund chasing. Group is thinning. Riders have been dropped. Just trying to hang on to this group as we go over the top. And we do. And we do. Okay. Quick check-in. Almeida's about to win the stage. Rodriguez will take second. The battle is for third. And it goes to a Venipol. And then Vingegaard. Leknesund in no man's land of 5th place. But we are in the top 10 here today. And we're going to sprint out the final 500 meters. We have no red bar at all. But we are going to take 8th place on the stage. Beautiful. Beautiful result. We just beat Palace, who's, like a 82, 81, 81, with a guy who's a 71, 69, 70. My +4s are what their base is. So, out of race day condition, bonus to whatever he's got. But we're starting more than 10 points behind the guy and just beat him. I think that's a great result for our B team, and that's definitely going to move Haptum into the top 10. Good result for an inferior group and a race that shouldn't have had such a strong field, but had an incredibly strong field, in which Lenny Martinez just took 16th. Bardet took 17th. Mader, O'Connor, Vlasov, all well down the order. 40 seconds lost on the stage. Definitely did get separation in the end there, but with significant gaps just a short way down the field, this should be good. But gaps were fairly big already. Remember, I quick sim 2 stages, and it did not go well. The 3 that I did perform in, there were 7 stages in all. One was a sprint, so that didn't affect anything. But in the 3 that I raced, we performed well. In the 2 that I didn't, we did not perform well. That did get us into the top 10. Haptum finished 9th overall, all things considered, where he lost, I think, 3 of the 447. He lost 3 minutes of that in those 2 stages that we quick simmed. All in all, that makes that a pretty dang good result. But somehow Richard Carapaz is still ahead of us. That's a surprise. But we're looking at just half a minute to him, and then we're looking at 2.5 to Lenny Martinez, who has really missed out on this one, right? He's almost 2 minutes ahead of the guy behind him. He loses a relatively small amount of time, but he drops from podium to out of the podium to all the way down to 7th place, and is still similar gap to 1st place that he has to the guy next in order behind him. We've been on the receiving end of that so many times, though, that it feels good to kind of be on the other side of it, where it's like, we got gap pretty big, and there's only one guy ahead of us. Gaps behind, though, do start to open up quite a bit as well. So all in all, Johannes Haptum, great result. I mean, that's an incredibly strong top 8. That's an incredibly strong top 20. Like, there is no climbers, there might be none below a 79, and there's not the weakest class. Oh, Carapaz has a 78 mountain, 79 medium mountain. He's the weakest one around us, and like I said, he wasn't really around us. He was just in a really good position after the first 3 stages, I think, for the most part. He gained a position on this stage. I thought he lost time, but Carapaz is fantastic. You know, we're looking at a solid +7 ahead of Aptum in everything. And riding with Faustina, that makes him a leader. Him and Petrovic. Yeah, I gotta say, hands down, all things considered, that was a fantastic race from our B team. Couldn't have asked for much more than that, with just the sheer quality around us. Like I said, that entire top 20 is 178 with some 79s littered in, a couple guys that are a 79 with 80s littered in, and then the entire rest of the top 20 was an 80 to an 83 across the board. Mountain, medium mountain, and hills. And then little old Johannes Aptum with a 71, 69, 70, who is on a fitness peak. No objective here. He was expected +3s. But the couple stages we rode in, he had the right stuff. 72 time trial. He had a decent bonus that day, and what was he? 73, right? He had a +4 and a +1, something like that. All in all, for this guy to finish in the top 10 with that field, fantastic. That is going to do it for this episode, though. Next up, Paris-Roubaix. Our worst race of the year because we're not built for it. But it's my favorite. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.